and welcome once again to the CR Patreon Nintendo podcast. It's not weekly because we haven't been podcasting in quite a while, but that's because I've been on the move from place to place, and I'm not going to tell too much because it's still not solved. But stay tuned for more details to come. But we've had a lot of news coming in the last couple of weeks. We had a Nintendo Direct, of course. I think we were able to actually talk about that one. But we also have had some hardware news and also a Nintendo game that came out. The first one actually since June, wasn't it?
Yeah, the first one since Mario Tennis Ace question mark. Well, I mean, there was it's the first one that's not a port, pretty much, because Captain Toad came out later, I think. But yeah, like the first original quote unquote Switch game. It's a Nintendo published Switch game, pretty much. Correct me if I'm wrong on that, but no, it's like the most significant release. We're talking, of course, about Super Mario Party. I did not get a chance to play it yet. Have you played it, Konrad?
Yeah, I actually got to play it with my father, who's sitting right over there. Hello.
Hi, Dad.
Hello, Daddy. Oh, hi, Daddy.
Oh, hi, Dad. Oh, hi, Father.
Oh, he's busy. He's working always on his computer, after all. So
Yeah.
I'm not the only one working on a computer for a living.
What I've been hearing about Super Mario Party is it's like
good.
A few steps forward, one step back, that kind of thing.
I would say it's a major improvement from like 9 and 10, and it definitely isn't on the level of the first Mario Parties on Nintendo 64 and Nintendo GameCube, but it's on the right path. And I think the next Super Mario Party might be just the one we are waiting for.
Yeah, let's hope. Because the problem I've been hearing about this is its lack of content and the bad online, and that stars only cost 10 coins instead of 20. So that kind of messes up the balancing. There's only 4 boards. I was actually quite shocked to hear that.
Yeah, I was also disappointed, and some of the boards are a little bit too simplistic. I would have expected more after all these years, and it just feels like we rebooted the franchise, and now we're going to the simplicity of the first Mario Party, I guess. But even that one had much more, and I would say they definitely put a lot of effort on the HD Rumble in this game.
Yeah, that's good. Yeah, this seems like a fun game. The minigames seem like the best.
Oh, yeah, the minigames are the far best. And the fact that you can play them online is just such a great thing.
I bet. Yeah, I'll have to give that game a shot. I'm thinking I might just... Well, you could bring it to New York with you when you come over. When we go over to that thing. That's going to be fun.
Definitely, we can play in the line, which we're not going to stand in this time. That's for sure.
That's for sure. Okay.
For anyone wondering, I was standing in line for the launch of Super Mario Odyssey, and I was just there just to experience this thing. And one time was enough.
Yeah, once was enough. That's for sure.
Once was enough. But let's get over to the hardware news. We can get back to Super Mario Party a little bit later in the podcast. And, it looks like we're getting a Nintendo Switch Pro or new Nintendo Switch. I bet none of them will be the name for the system.
Yeah. You know, this is a report from the Wall Street Journal. Technically, it's not confirmed, but it's just one of those rumors where it's like, it's coming. It's so obvious. Nintendo's notorious for doing this for their handhelds and just hardware manufacturers in general. PlayStation 4 Pro, Xbox One X, and even if those generational upgrades didn't exist, we still have the PS4 and Xbox One S, the PS4 Slim I'm talking about. Hardware upgrades are nothing new.
Oh, no, absolutely not. And we see also the next generation of consoles probably coming around 2020, 2021. So it's the exact spot that Nintendo needs to hit. Because there's no way that even the upgraded version of the Switch will be able to meet, the PlayStation 5 and the Xbox...
It's
whatever.
The code name for that system is Xbox Scarlet. That's so it's got a nice little name. I'm a little side note. I'm kind of excited to see what Xbox has planned for the next generation because they're really just like, guys, we got to make up for this generation.
Yeah.
They bought Obsidian entertainment. So I'm just like, ooh, you could have them make a Fable game, maybe.
That's true. That's true. And no, like the most important thing they need to fix on the Switch is like adding a Bluetooth, and because I was trying to plug up my Switch to a projector that I have because I have no TV at the moment, and have a white wall, as you can see behind me. So it's perfect for projections. The only problem is that projectors don't have sound. So yeah, unless you have a Bluetooth speaker, you are screwed. And unfortunately, the Switch has no Bluetooth support. So yeah, it's kind of bad.
It is kind of bad, but yeah, that's probably something they could put into the new Nintendo Switch Pro XL with Knuckles, that kind of thing. But
Yeah, pretty much.
but it's also just like I was talking about this in our video that we uploaded on what was it, Wednesday? I don't even remember. But yeah, do we need a Nintendo Switch Pro? The thing about this. What was that? Yeah, go on. Watch it after this. But what I touch upon is if this new Nintendo Switch is going to be like a more powerful system, kind of like the PS4 Pro and Xbox One X. Obviously, not as powerful as those systems, but comparing the two, same sort of marginal upgrade. It would be marginal. Wouldn't be anything like incredibly significant. Like even the Xbox One X has insanely better specs than the Xbox One. But even then, it doesn't make the games look that much better. It makes them look better for 4K, which is mainly what those consoles are meant for, is 4K TVs. The question is, does Nintendo care enough about 4K TVs at this point?
But do you even think it's possible? Because the problem with the Switch, it's a piece of hardware that is so small, and when you look at the Xbox One X's and PS4 Pros, those are huge.
They're huge, yeah, but it's the Tegra X1 can already output at 4K. It's just not gonna render games right now at 4K. Like, say we eventually do get Netflix on the system.
Come on,
the
Nintendo.
Tegra X1
and YouTube.
could.
And YouTube.
I feel like this is all Netflix and YouTube's doing right now, because Hulu out of nowhere. Okay, but if those apps were to come to the Switch sooner than later, they could theoretically output at 4K thanks to that Tegra X1. I believe that is true, but like if they were to release a Switch or even a Switch dock that outputs at 4K, it wouldn't be native 4K. It would be upscaled to 4K, and that doesn't take much more power. So. I feel like that would be something. And if you don't have a 4K TV, you could probably just see slightly better graphics or super sampling on games. But then the question is, does Nintendo care about that enough? Because ultimately, what this new Nintendo Switch is for is to keep the interest in the Switch going, is to keep the Switch being not yesterday's news, to keep people talking, basically.
Yeah, exactly. And I feel like Nintendo is just trying to make a system that is more complete and adding a little bit more expensive Switch than they were comfortable with in the beginning. So add those features that were missing originally. And if you want to upgrade, well, you already have the dock, and the dock will never be powered up because what is the dock? It's just a charging station and an output station for HDMI. You can't add another source of CPU or GPU in that thing.
That's for sure. It's very much for sure. Because it's like, sure, it's theoretically possible, but also super expensive. So why would Nintendo do that?
Completely. And I feel like Nintendo has really been... They have tried to make some right moves when it comes to their hardware. And now I think they're ready to take that next step when it comes to maybe adding a little bit more power, but mostly adding more features like better battery life, because I think they want to push this as a handheld, truly. And what is the most important then? It's battery life.
Battery life and storage. Let's not forget about storage.
Storage too.
I feel like at this point, I've been seeing 128 gigabyte micro SD cards go on sale for like $35. I feel like they could probably make that upgrade to 128 gigs. Honestly, 64 gigs would be fine, but let's be honest, you're still going to probably run out of storage at that point. Like I know I have, but all I need to do is uninstall LA Noire. So. Good God, that game is 27 gigs.
But that is not only a problem on the Switch. Just look at your PlayStation, and now with Red Dead Redemption 2, How much was it? 105 gigabytes.
gigabytes.
That's
And
ridiculous.
not even that. Black Ops 4 is 100 gigabytes
How
as
is
well.
that possible? Like, I can understand a game like Red Dead Redemption 2 because it's huge.
Well, so is Black Ops 4. They got the huge map for their Battle Royale
That's
game.
true.
And they also have the zombies modes are freaking huge as well. They're pretty much the replacement for the single player. And then, of course, you have the multiplayer mode.
Yeah.
And not to mention, like, Call of Duty games are just not that well. The files for them are have never been well compressed. So it doesn't really surprise me that much that game is that huge. But Red Dead's understandable.
True. Okay, so when do you think we'll see this upgrade?
Holiday 2019, I'm thinking.
As soon as that.
Maybe that's what the report said, that they would come out late next year.
Then again, Nintendo is quite notorious with delaying the systems, so.
I mean, they didn't delay the Switch.
Well,
they delayed their online service.
I think they might have delayed actually the Switch. They planned to have it as a holiday game with Zelda originally in 2016. And then they realized, okay, we need to push this thing to March.
I mean, there's no proof of that, but if they do delay it, then you know.
But that would at least explain why the only thing they had at E3 in 2016 was Zelda.
I guess, I don't know.
Because otherwise they would have brought the system and killed it.
I don't know. They just have weird strategies. I don't think it necessarily had anything to do with the delay.
Yeah.
They still could have showed that thing at E3 and has said it's coming out in March, just to get people excited.
I feel somehow the same about it, but like this system could come out, like we said, it could come out in the winter or holiday season of 2019, but it could also come out in March 2020.
That could work too, as long as it doesn't come out next to the PlayStation 5 or the next Xbox.
Exactly.
Because nobody's going to... It's just like, oh, Switch upgrade? I'm too busy worrying about the PS5. Come on.
That's true, but I think they want to push this more as a handheld. But it's a Switch, but a handheld, a proper handheld. So say 6-hour or 7-hour battery life, 1080p display, and of course the game's running like on your TV. So... it will be like a Switch Pro, but in the sense more of a Switch Pro on your handheld.
Would it still include a dock, or do you think that they would finally say, all right, here's a dockless option and here's a docked option?
Maybe they could come out with two models, one with a dock and one without a dock.
I feel like that would be best.
The battery life will be so long that a gaming session would not be a problem anymore. So you could play a 6-hour session without charging your Switch at all. And I feel like that will be the greatest improvement at all, plus adding features like Bluetooth and a few other things as well.
Yeah, we really do need Bluetooth on that thing, not just for handheld play, but it's mostly just for docked play. Like if you want to play your games wearing a headset on the Switch, you better have a long extension cord, because no controllers have headphone inputs, to my knowledge.
Yeah, I feel somewhat the same about it, and I'm afraid Nintendo will not change their policy when it comes to Nintendo Switch Online and voice chat and so on. So we better just get used to it. It's dumb, it's unnecessary, but it's the way Nintendo wants to do online. And speaking of online, Nintendo Switch Online.
Yeah, they keep... it's so funny. They uploaded a new video about Nintendo Switch Online recently, but it got so much flack and dislikes, they re-uploaded it, and now it has even more dislikes.
Because they re-uploaded it.
Because they re-uploaded it. They're just like, guys, what are you doing?
God.
Like, this kind of feedback, this kind of criticisms we're throwing at Nintendo right now, they need to happen. Even if they don't listen, I feel like at some point they will reach a breaking point. But also at the same time, I've been hearing Nintendo Switch Online is getting rave reviews over in Japan. So as long as that happens, they probably won't, which is awful.
Yeah, that's kind of awful because you pay for the service and you get what you already had and not much more. And then they add, they add that new NES mode for Zelda, the first Zelda. And I feel like, yes, it's a welcome addition because Zelda can be confusing as all hell. The first one, having so many coins is a welcome addition, but at the same time, you still need to find all the secrets, so it doesn't defeat the purpose. So I find it actually a welcoming hand to people because most of the gamers on the Switch have not played many of these NES games, and for them, some of those NES games will be too hard, especially Ghosts and Goblins.
Ghosts and Goblins. Oh my god! But even then, I'm so underwhelmed. Like by our you guys watched our NES Online, not NES Online, the Nintendo Switch Online video. Thank you so much. That thing blew up.
Oh yeah,
my
completely.
god! Did not see that coming.
A real dumpster fire indeed.
Yes, even then I'm so annoyed by things that the NES game service does. We can't remap the buttons at all.
That's stupid.
So you're stuck with pressing the A button to jump and the B button to run.
But they want you to buy that NES controller. That's why.
Exactly. It's scummy. It's a super scummy move.
That's another $50. Or was it $60?
$60.
So it's $60. So it's the same as 3 years of Nintendo Switch Online membership.
Exactly. It's so scummy. It's the definition of of company.
I wouldn't exactly say it's scummy, but it's just like, oh, you want to play this the way where you will enjoy this, then pay up. You can't use any other. You can't use any other controller. So, yeah.
It's so dumb. Yeah.
And I'm not that impressed by the selection of games. Also, they really made a stretch with the the multiplayer games, and put in some games I feel like never belonged to this service.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, like what? All those sports games? Like what? Okay. Why? Tecmo Bowl? I mean, I guess some people like Tecmo Bowl, but what else is there? Yeah.
So we got a question in the comments talking about that they need to fix the Nintendo Switch Online. And what would you fix as it is?
I think the number one thing they need to fix is the awful cloud saves feature. That is like number one priority for me.
Oh, you know, excuses for why we cannot add cloud support to like Pokemon and Splatoon.
Because it prevents cheaters. Okay, why don't you ask your friends PlayStation and Xbox, who've worked their way around such a debacle, and ask them how it's done. But no, you don't want to put in the fucking effort. You're too lazy to just bother.
That's one thing, and on the other thing is that we don't even have eShop deals yet.
We don't have eShop deals yet. They keep saying, stay tuned, stay tuned, stay tuned.
Yeah, this mystery box and the question mark, and it's wow, it's coming, and where is it, Nintendo?
We've stayed tuned. We have been staying tuned since March 2017, Nintendo. Come on.
I can say straight out, I've still not bought Nintendo Switch Online. I haven't felt the necessity for it. I'll probably get it when Smash is out, pretty much.
Yeah.
But I hope the service will improve by then.
Mm-hmm. I did the family plan, so I'm really paying like $7 for it. Honestly,
it's not bad at all.
Not bad, but it's just like, oh my god, I kind of wish I didn't buy it either way, because it's like, oh hey, I haven't played my Switch for like a week, so now I need to check in if I want to play my NES games.
United is asking, yeah, I see that.
I love it.
Switch is supposed to get Bluetooth support with an update later, right?
That's not how Bluetooth works.
No, Bluetooth needs to be in the system.
Yeah, it's not a software. It's physical.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. It's a hardware thing.
So unless they put it in the Nintendo Switch Pro or new Nintendo Switch or whatever they call it, then no, there will be no Bluetooth on the Switch you currently own, unfortunately.
Exactly. Yeah,
unfortunately. But you can buy a Bluetooth adapter. That's possible.
Yeah, it is. It's just like, but the problem is the Bluetooth adapters, most of them I've seen, at least dedicated for the Switch, they go into the charging port. Yeah. So you won't be able to dock it if you're going to use Bluetooth headsets.
I think one of them goes through the headphone jack.
Yes, you're correct. There's a couple of Bluetooth adapters you can buy with like 3.5 millimeter jacks that can work as well.
Yeah. So stay tuned to until we talk about that in a future video, because this really sucks of having no sound when you play games docked for the moment.
Mm-hmm. For the moment. But, we'll live, I guess.
It's a temporary setback. So that's how it is. Okay, Nintendo Switch Online, I think, gradually might get better, but I never think it will reach the quality or the reliability. The first big test for Nintendo Switch Online will be Smash. Let's face it.
Yeah. And if it fails,
Oh my god,
oh
the backlash
God,
will be horrible.
yeah. I mean, I'm already losing faith with Super Mario Party's online. But I think the problem with Super Mario Party's online wasn't the online part. It was it just wasn't designed very well.
No,
From what I've been
and
hearing.
it's very limited. You just can play many games. Well, it's the funniest part of the game, but at the same
Mhm.
time, it just gets kind of old after a few mini games.
Sounds about right. Yeah.
But
It's just this whole situation.
but speaking of Super Mario Party, I actually enjoyed the new mode, the River Survival.
Oh, I've heard about that.
I played it with my father, and it was actually quite a lot of fun because you are in this pontoon
Hmm.
and using your what are they called, oars or
Yes,
yeah,
oars.
oars to paddle around, and I
Mhm.
felt that was so much fun. Really, that was actually I felt that part was actually more fun than the mini games because it felt so intuitive. And I must say, the HD Rumble really works incredibly well in the Nintendo
Mm.
Switch.
Excellent. Excellente. But if we're on the topic of upcoming Switch
Oh
games,
yeah,
if we're talking about games that just came
we
out,
have two big
and
games coming out this week
yes,
or
in
next week or the next few
next
days.
week, yeah, 4 days from now, we are getting Starlink Battle for Atlas, the best Star Fox game since Star Fox 64. I don't
Ooh,
know. That's just my
burn.
burn indeed. But it's just like, yeah, I don't know anybody that has reviewed copies of this game yet. There's like no preview coverage or anything. We've been trying to
Not a
request a
good
review copy,
sound. Not a good
but you can
sign.
you what was that? What were you saying?
It's not a good sign if they don't send out review copies.
Well, the same thing happened with Doom and stuff. So, and Doom is an amazing freaking game.
That's
So,
true.
I wouldn't worry. I wouldn't worry too much about that yet. But you can bet we'll be covering this game on our channel in some form that I won't spoil here.
Yep, we are going to do that, and we're going to do that also with certain Red Dead.
You spoiled it already. God damn it! No, that's gonna be fun. I'm excited for that. I just did my playthrough of Red Dead 1 to capture footage and stuff, and refresh my memory on that game. And yeah, some parts of it haven't aged too well, but largely it's just like, wow, this game is still like, there's so much about it that games even today just don't get right. Like, the dialogue and story of that game is something to be admired, because the dialogue's so natural and the story is so, it's simple but it's elegant.
Uh, uh, Absolutely, and we're also getting the what is it called again? The World Ends With You Final Remix. It's coming out
That
also
came out today,
next week.
didn't it?
That came out actually today, and I don't. The embargo actually lifted today as well. So get into the eShop and get that game because it's a classic, and it's got an additional day added to the week. So get it, play it, you will enjoy it, and also another reason to buy this. Maybe if it sells well, we could get Kingdom Hearts 3 on the Switch.
Or The World Ends With You too. I don't know if I don't think the success of this game is going to determine Kingdom Hearts 3.
Well, it's Nomura, so it's the same developer.
But I
Director.
don't.
Yeah, director.
The World Ends With You fans and Kingdom Hearts fans are almost entirely separate
That's
people,
true. That's true.
because one's Disney, one's not. But let's hope.
Yeah.
Let's just hope.
Yeah. Hopefully, we'll get a sequel for The World Ends With You, and then hopefully Kingdom Hearts 3 for ports sometime in 2019, maybe on the Nintendo Switch Pro.
Let us hope. Let us hope. It's funny. They released all the Kingdom Hearts games in one package on the PS4 lately, but they didn't do it on the Xbox, even though Xbox is getting Kingdom Hearts 3.
Well, the reason is that Kingdom Hearts has always been the PlayStation series. They wanted a.
But don't you think that it would make, if Xbox fans who've never owned a PlayStation 2 or even a PS3, even though no Kingdom Hearts game is on that system, if they're going to get into Kingdom Hearts 3, don't you think they should have a right to be able to catch up to the series? So it's kind of a little backwards
they have,
to me.
but the thing is, you don't really catch up by just playing those two games, as HMK will explain very well to do. If you want to catch up with the series, you also need to play the Game Boy. No, I mean the Nintendo DS games and some.
Yeah, and they're all on the collection.
Oh, they're all in the collection.
Literally, You see, not the Game Boy Advance one. That's the PS2 version they put in there, the Chain of Memories. But other than that, they have the cutscenes for the DS one. They don't have the actual game, but the cutscenes are good enough because
just so you have
story.
the story, continuous one.
Yeah. So literally everything Kingdom Hearts is in that collection,
and it's also in the Timeline trilogy collection.
Mm-hmm.
Okay,
it is. So if you want to catch up, bam, there you go. There's
it's going to be a very tough experience. So, okay, so I hope this game will come out to the Switch sometime, hopefully. But it looks like Super Smash Bros. Ultimate is the second most anticipated game altogether this year, behind Call of Duty Black Ops 4. Which how is that even possible when we have Red Dead Redemption 2 coming out?
Well, way more people know what Call of Duty is than Red Dead. That's for sure. And I also think it's because Call of Duty Black Ops 4 is daring to be different this time around. Having no single-player campaign, that is insane. But the biggest part is that they're dropping in, I should say, on the Battle Royale genre. And I've heard nothing but good things about their version of Battle Royale, that being Blackout. So I think that's...
So people are talking about that this might be a Fortnite killer.
Kind of. I mean, more like a PUBG killer, because Fortnite will always have the benefit of being free and for all ages and on every single platform, but Blackout. But still, then you got functionality-wise, Blackout's probably going to be like top tier. Who knows? But it came out today. No review copies have gone out yet because they wanted to say... review copies went out today, actually. They didn't do pre-launch because they wanted everyone to be able to play all together.
Yeah, and the online experience would make no sense to review unless you have this full-on experience.
Exactly. Yeah, because it's not 100 players, it's 80 players, but still, it's just like you need as many people as possible playing that game.
Exactly.
Which makes sense.
But it also gives you a completely different experience, so... Yeah, Smash is behind that, but we know Call of Duty is super popular, and that's just how it is. I know that Super Mario Party has been selling quite well, though, and there was a Joy-Con shortage in the UK following the launch of Super Mario Party, so look at that.
The Joy-Con famine of 2018. This is one for the history books, kids.
And there's a lot of colors to collect as well, so pick and play, I guess.
Take your pick, man.
It's
gonna be fun.
Absolutely, absolutely. And we also have Ubisoft. That we know that Star Fox and his team plus Wolf will be in Starlink Battle for Atlas and have their own campaign. Or I don't know how extensive this campaign will be, but it looks like they put some effort actually into it. And it looks like Ubisoft actually wants to make more Nintendo collabs.
Like who wouldn't?
After Mario plus Rabbids Kingdom Battle and now Starlink Battle for Atlas. And the question is, what is next?
You know what's funny? Yesterday I received an email from Ubisoft. They've been sending out surveys to people. And this survey had a heavy focus on the Nintendo Switch, being like, did you play? If you answered the question, yes, I did play Mario Rabbids Kingdom Battle, it takes you to a whole other survey about what you liked about the game, what you didn't like about the game, what you think could be improved on. Would you love to see another game? Sequel. Get that sequel money, boys. I'm just like, yeah, sure, another Mario Rabbids game would be cool, but what I really want to see is Ubisoft given more Nintendo IPs, maybe even dormant Nintendo IPs. You know, the F-Zeros and the Earthbounds. See what their take is on those famous franchises.
Hello.
What was that?
Hello, Sifu. I see he joined us.
Yeah, Sifu, he's here.
He's working on tomorrow's video because I had lost my wallet and had to go to police.
Did you find it yet, or are they just looking for it?
Nope. So I need to make another bank Visa card and another, a few other things. Yeah, well, not the ID. Luckily, I have my passports and stuff here.
But are you sure you didn't leave it at Papa John's?
No, I didn't leave it at Papa John's. I didn't leave it at Papa John's. Like, they have Reese's, they have Hershey's, they have Papa John's, but it's like 1/3 of the price in the US, Joey.
1/3 of the price, and it's actually better. What do you know? Is it better?
Yeah, I felt it was actually quite good pizza.
That's good. Yeah, because it's Papa John's is awful here. It is
Hmm.
awful.
I thought it was quite good, and I actually had Italian pizza a few days ago, like the real stuff we had in Rome.
Yeah, of
So
course.
actually, I felt like Papa John's was not too bad in Poland at least.
That's good. Yeah, I'll
But
have to
that's
have some.
very very off topic, and it was
Welcome
just
to the pizza podcast here on the
it was
Commonwealth
just a
Realm.
little update there to Sifu, who's working on a Smash videos, which you can look forward to tomorrow or watch it if
Yay.
you are listening to this podcast immediately. So
Mhm.
have fun.
Have fun with
Okay,
that.
so back to Ubisoft. What game would you like to see? Like, I would love to see, based on Starlink, them do a proper Star Fox game with a real story and campaign and like everything what Star Fox should be, not just a endless rehash of Star Fox 64 or the original Star
Seriously.
Fox actually, because they're rehashing this same story over and over and over and over again.
Yeah, that is just I want that so bad. Like Starlink, like don't know one person that cared about that game until we saw the Star Fox characters. And maybe we were too harsh on this game for just being toys to life and being an original IP. But like when the Star Fox characters came in, now I'm just interested in not just the Star Fox aspect, but every other aspect of the game. We should not be sleeping on Starlink
That's
at this
true.
point.
And we were actually quite optimistic. We were like, okay, we're a little bit afraid about this No Man's Sky approach. But it turns
Hmm.
out the game doesn't have a No Man's Sky. It has a limited, I think it's a total of 7 planets in the
7 planets, correct?
yeah,
Yeah.
and I feel like that's the perfect amount. Like,
Hmm.
that's the kind of amount I would like to see in an exploration style Metro game. I don't think Metro Prime 4 will be a game in this vein, though.
I don't think it will either. I think they're going to stick.
Stick to
I
one
think we're
planet,
prime.
probably.
Stick to one planet just
Yeah,
to be safe. Yeah.
yeah.
But Starlink, I love the way they're approaching that. Like with just 7 planets is fine. It's good enough. And maybe a Star Fox game in that somewhat similar vein, but also if they're going to make Star Fox, if Starlink turns out to be a great game, I don't want them to just make a Star Fox game that's exactly like Starlink. I do think that they should do something to differentiate itself from Starlink, but also do something new with Star Fox, because as Star Fox Zero has proven, you can't just rehash 64 and get away with it.
Oh, completely. And we are just tired of not having a proper Star Fox sequel. Just a
Hmm.
reimagination or remake. And like, that's the problem with the franchise. It's not moving forward.
It's not at
It's
all.
stuck in one place and it's just been riddled with gimmicks. Yes, the graphics get prettier from game to game, but that's pretty much it. And I don't feel like the franchise has evolved anything since Star Fox 64,
It
unfortunately.
hasn't.
Because
Like, is some people really like Assault and Star Fox Adventures because of the few things about them that are great.
mhm,
I would, but it's just like the flaws of them are just like, okay, but like this part's not Star Fox enough, or it's like because Assault had the on the ground sections that were just like really weird and awkward to control. But when that game was Star Fox, when it was just flying through an R-wing, it was fantastic.
yeah, and I feel like the concept of Starlink is a very good approach to what we could be expecting because Star Fox is such an interesting IP. It's a blend of a little bit of Star Wars and a little bit of Top Gun. Top Gun.
Yes.
And I think that's the perfect blend. And I think it just has so much potential that hasn't been used.
Yes, I love the way in Starlink the way those cutscenes for the Star Fox characters are made. It
Oh yeah.
looks amazing. Like that whole scene, I've said this on Twitter, that whole scene with Wolf eating that Cornerian meat, better than the entirety of Star Fox Zero.
No, it wasn't Corneria meat. He said he never thought he would miss the food at Corneria because of the
Oh, okay.
shit he was eating out in space.
Oh, okay. I thought he was making fun of Cornerian meat. But yeah, he was like, ugh, this is awful. And I think they got the original voice actors back too, so they still got talent.
Yeah, and
It's
Wolf sounds amazing.
Wolf's voice actor is just perfect.
Yeah,
Mwah.
yeah.
Oh my god.
And I also feel like I really hope they nail the dogfights because the dogfights against Wolf are classics.
They are.
It's
They
like
really are.
this is the franchise that has the most potential, but they haven't utilized it at all. Like you could say F-Zero peaked with GX. Even though it was difficult as all hell, the campaign was almost impossible to get through because of the difficulty spike. And but Star Fox, I feel like, has just been stuck in one place, and I think it's time for someone else to take care of that IP and bring it to the next level.
Exactly, and I feel like the developers at who makes them? Ubisoft Milan, Paris. I don't remember who makes Starlink.
I think
but
it's one of those two.
All right, I'm just gonna fact check that real quick. But yeah, I feel like if Starlink proves to be this really great, Ubisoft Toronto, not even close.
So it's Canada.
Yes, Canada.
Scott!
He's our Canadian editor. But yeah, Ubisoft Toronto's making this. So if they've proven themselves to be really great space shooter developers for Starlink, like even just on all accounts, not even the Star Fox parts, just give them the IP, make a good Star Fox game. They have earned it at this point. If like the game still comes out on the 16th, I am kind of concerned that I haven't seen any review copies for it, though that could just be my own speculation. But I'm hoping the best for Starlink at this point.
Oh, same here. I really hope that game will perform well and also be a good game because, like, this is a game that people are skeptical to, and I think that the only way this game can succeed is on the Switch because it's a Star Fox thingy, because it just drowns in the middle of other great games on the PS4 and Xbox One.
Exactly. Like Red Dead Redemption 2!
Which is still a few days away. Way.
Crazy. We are exactly 2 weeks away from the launch of this game. Yeah, today's Friday, right? Yeah, it is Friday. So yeah, we are exactly 2 weeks away. I'm actually going to be at Universal Studios when it comes out, but then I'm going to be flying back that same day. So I'm going to run to the store, get my disc, and wait 500 years for that game to install on my PS4. Because goddamn.
Oh my god, 100 gigabytes. Just downloading Spider-Man took quite a while, and I was dumb enough to connect it to the limited internet, so it used up I think it used up almost half of the monthly limit. Luckily now I got the UPC connection
That's good.
through cable, so you don't have any problems with that. But it's just, oh my god, those download sizes just get ridiculously big.
They're gonna get worse.
They get bigger than the game.
Exactly. It's ridiculous, but I'm really excited for Red Dead Redemption 2. This is the Red Dead Redemption 2 part of the podcast, everybody. We don't just cover Nintendo anymore. We cover more than just Nintendo, but we're still going to cover a lot more Nintendo than we don't. So please don't worry about that.
Yeah,
we started as a Nintendo channel. We're going to die a Nintendo channel when the world ends in 12 years thanks to climate change. But enough about that. Let's talk about Red Dead Redemption 2.
Or Trump and Kanye.
Trump and Kanye will destroy the world. Good lord. But I've been hearing so much praise for Red Dead Redemption 2, and from what I've been hearing from Jared Petty, from his from Kind of Funny Games, Alana Pierce, all those guys, that this is, the words can't describe how revolutionary this game is going to be. It's basically Breath of the Wild Part 2, if you catch my drift.
In 4K and everything technically on a whole new level. It's like people are saying it's the first next gen game. We thought it would be Cyberpunk, but it looks like it's Red Dead Redemption 2.
Yeah, it's kind of crazy how this is. What Jared Petty said was the feeling he had playing this game for an hour was the same feeling he had playing Super Mario Bros. For the first time. And I'm just like, what? Is it just the hype, or is it really that good? Honestly.
Okay, I can't wait to play this game, and I think everyone has been waiting years upon years upon years to have a sequel to Red Dead Redemption.
It's really crazy. Yeah, I was 2010 was when the first game came out, and if you liked the first game that much, well, let me tell you something. Red Dead Redemption 2 is going to have a new map, as you may know, but it's going to be connected to the old map from Red Dead Redemption 1. So
Yeah.
the entire map of Red Dead 1 is going to be in Red Dead 2 and then some. What?
It's insane. And yeah, like I need to say, Nintendo this year, you guessed it, guys, we're still not done with Nintendo.
Yeah.
It's just Smash. You can't compare any other game to the quality and ambition. Like, Sony really put their effort into 2018. God of
did.
War, Spider-Man, Red Dead Redemption 2. It's just insane what they are getting this year. And in Nintendo's case, it's just like, oh yeah, we have Super Mario Party after a 3-month-long break from any first-party games. Then you have Pokemon Let's Go, which is technically not a first-party game; it's a second-party game because Game Freak is not owned by Nintendo, but they only publish for Nintendo. And then you have, of course, Super Smash Bros. Ultimate, which is also not developed by Nintendo, but it's owned by Nintendo. It's kind of complicated.
It's kind of complicated, and people are still going to consider Pokemon a Nintendo franchise, which was fine. And we just made that video. Maybe we were wrong about Pokemon Let's Go, but
yeah, there's a lot of stuff, and we could also talk about it now. I feel like that game holds a much more promise now. Yes, it's still annoying that you can't battle in order to catch wild Pokemon. But I feel like they actually have been able to get rid of an annoyance in the game and adding at the same time a lot of improvements to the first generation.
Absolutely. It's really gonna put into perspective what this truly next gen Pokemon game coming out next year is going to put into the fray. I wonder, it's not going to be as nearly simplified as Pokemon Let's Go is, because Let's Go is all about bringing in those. It's mostly about bringing in those new fans into the series and preparing them for the quote unquote real Pokemon game coming out next year, and that's going to be exciting to see what they go with. And I hope, for the love of God, that they give it a new art style or a more polished one, I should say.
Yeah, have you seen the newest Yokai Watch game?
I have seen that.
Yeah, that's exactly what Pokemon should do. Full camera control, a little bit of an proper 3D environment, and I feel like Pokemon Let's Go is in many ways A Link Between Worlds, leading up to the Breath of the Wild in the Pokemon franchise.
That's a good analogy. Yeah, I agree wholeheartedly. And then you also have Game Freak making their own new IP. I forget what it's called. Town? Yeah, it's called Town.
Yeah, Town. It looks quite interesting, but it's obviously just a concept for now, and it's coming out next year, isn't it? Or is it? Or we don't have a date.
I think we don't have a date, but if they announced it now, I feel like they're shooting for at least next year. Yeah, let's hope for that. And I feel like there's stuff they're probably learning from that game and to put into to Pokemon the next one, because it's just like. I do like what you're saying, the controllable camera, those rich environments. Pokemon Let's Go, for all it's doing right, it's still very much like an upscaled 3DS game at this point.
To some extent, yes. But it's a 3DS game that didn't come out on the 3DS first.
Yeah. That's for sure.
It's pretty much a remake or reimagination of Pokemon Yellow. So we definitely will be going more over that game come November, maybe another video in October. The video that we just uploaded does quite well, so we might actually consider making another video about the game. We just need to find out what we want to talk about the game.
Exactly.
That's the biggest problem with making a video. There's not that much Nintendo stuff to talk about right now, because after a Direct, it's like complete silence. We know we have a Luigi's Mansion on the horizon in 2019. We have an Animal Crossing on the horizon in 2019. We have a Pokemon game on the horizon in 2019. But we know close to nothing about any of those.
We really don't. We can't do Inside Animal Crossing Switch yet, guys. Just give it time.
Yeah, and we'll be, of course, talking more about Fire Emblem Three Houses as soon as we get to 2019. And we're also planning a little bit, starting to think about what we want to do next year. But before that, we have I'm not going to say let's say a fuck ton of games. Okay, so we have actually a super chat coming in from Aka Ingmar. Thank you very much. $5 right there. Every console has a mere year of releases. Keep in mind, PS4 year 2 and 1 kind of sucked. I know Nintendo's year was great, but they can't all be winners. And yeah, you're completely right. 2019 looks like to be another winner year, just like we were referencing and listing up right now. 2018 looks like the third-party year, and in some extent it's been kind of good, but they're definitely building up to something big, really big for 2019.
Yeah, I am so excited for 2019, man. It's going to be like GameCube Part 2. Because these games coming out were also franchises on the GameCube, and it's just like GameCube's my favorite system ever.
Yeah, we still have heard nothing about like a new Star Fox, which I bet is just a matter of time after if Starlink does well. So buy Starlink, guys. And the same goes with Mario Kart, which might evolve into something greater in the vein of Super Smash Bros. And then we have, what other franchises do we really have left at this point?
We do have to find out more about Prime 4, which hopefully we'll see something at the Game Awards. But I have a whole video about that.
But I feel like in 2020, we'll see a return to either a 3D Mario or a 3D Zelda, or maybe 2D. We'll see. Like, I feel like they have a good cycle now for their IPs. They want to get them all out and then restart so that we get 2 3D Mario games and 2 3D Zelda games on the Nintendo Switch.
That would be so awesome. Like, yeah, I feel like 2020 would be the perfect time to come out with a new one of those 3D franchises. Or, do 2017 Part 2 and do both. I don't care. I mean, I love it either way.
Perhaps. But okay, I feel we have gone over all topics except for one, which we have been avoiding this entire stream, and I guess you know what it is.
You're going to have to remind me because I actually can't think of it. What is it?
It's about a video we deleted. So,
we should talk
Bowsette. It's kind of gone now.
Yeah, she's slowly fading into obscurity. I knew the Bowsette would last maybe about 3 weeks max, maybe. But like, I'm still seeing people hacking their games and putting Bowsette as the final boss and stuff. But I'm just like, I didn't see Bowsette happening for that long. Memes, Not every meme can be a Harambe and last the whole year,
But still, some great art came out of it.
Some great art, indeed. Yes.
Some really talented people out there. I don't know if any one of you are there, but for you, any loyal people who stayed here, Bowsette was quite the thing. We got Boozette, we got a lot of different anime.
The Chain Chomp.
Anime TV.
Chain Chomp.
Yeah,
was awful.
Oh my god. And the King Bombette, yeah. So Pornhub had
Field day.
And the same goes with anime Reddit.
I have a bunch of cosplayer friends who jumped on that Bowsette train like nobody's business, and I'm just like, do you want me to unfollow you? I swear to God.
And Nintendo's just like, what's going on? No!
Why are we trending? Why is Bowser trending?
And then they see the picture and it's just like, we hate you guys.
Well, it could be worse. It could have been the Toad situation again.
Oh, yeah.
We're not going to... Just look it up if you want to know what we're talking about. Just look it up.
Yeah.
It's bad. It was bad.
It was really bad. I think Edgar actually included both of them in his Bowsette's thumbnail.
I think he did.
Yeah, he did. He definitely did. So, yeah, I think that kind of sums it up. What we have been missing, and we're pretty much caught up at this point. And we have another Smash video talking about the 69th character in the game. We all know that it might be a troll character, but it might also be a very big one. So stay tuned for the video. And if you're listening to this on Patreon, then check that video out. As we also have mentioned at the beginning, this is the Patreon podcast. That means that you can listen to it live if you catch it on our YouTube channel. But if you want to rewatch it or watch the entire thing, if you joined late, then you just support us on Patreon with $1. That's enough to get access to the entire podcast and the previous podcast, where you have the links to them right on patreon.com/commonrealm. And to everyone else from patreon.com/commonrealm supporting us, thank you so much for joining in. Thank you so much for supporting. And we will see you in the next one.
All right. Bye-bye, everybody.
Thank you, everyone. This was Konrad and Joseph. We will see you
So long.
later. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.